Hello from quarantine! My name is Imu, I am ReacttotheK channel creator and also a French horn player, and so welcome to my reaction for Baborado I'm spending my quarantine time learning Korean. What about you guys? On track! This is called Mixtape On Track! Happy 2nd anniversary! I am a little late getting to this. So I have watched the teasers for this video, and I already have a topic in mind of like what I'd like to talk about in this video, which is minor chords in major songs. And yeah, let's get started. We going for the K-drama vibe. 3, 2, 1. The high pass filter, I believe. The leading us into the next phrase. Minor chords! Ooh, cool vocal layering there towards the end of the phrase. I love that the very echoey background vocal sample, it's in the right headphone, came in when I believe it was Han who started singing, right? Oh. This track is thick! Okay, there's the minor chord again. That's cool. We had very percussive samples highlighted before we had Felix's lower timbre start off the next verse. So many vocal layers. Backward. I think it's minor 4. I'm gonna have to go back and play it on my keyboard. I like that transition a lot. I'll talk about it later. I also really like this melody. Hey, I love that! Because I kind of expected it to repeat a second time, but they didn't. Like, within the same phrase. Bridge. You thin everything out. Oh, that bass sample. It's so soft. Oh, the energy suddenly really changed. I kind of, oh. Wow! That was so much energy, and then we just kind of like, we chilled out. I believe this is tonic. 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, something dramatic is happening in the music video, and I have not been paying attention to it. Da 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 da. Woo! Woo! Okay, a lot happened in that music video, but so much was happening in the music that I wasn't able to pay attention to any of the storytelling in that, so I will rely on you guys and your theories. I believe I saw some tweets talking about how it kind of parallels Day 6's trilogy, and I mean, I'm all for that. But let's talk about the song. So I remember in some of our past videos, a lot of people have asked in the comment section, how can you tell if it's major? How can you tell if it's minor? What is modal mixture? And so we started up What is Music Theory series, which once I get to a piano, our school is closed down right now, but once I get to a piano, I hope to continue that. but we already have an episode of major versus minor up if you want to go check that out. I'll put it in the description.
Several song-filled hours later.
Wait, I'm gonna need to do some music theory shitting.
Thousands of tears later.
Okay, so after going back in a second and third time because I am very, very much out of practice, and shout out to Nick from this channel who helped me figure out the chords because he has perfect pitch and I very much don't. And once again, I'm very out of practice, so I was just like, it's in major, but there's so much minor. But then he was able to dive in and he was like, there are diminished chords too, and I'm like, duh! So anyways, rewind. So when we have a major and we have a minor key, and there are 7 different notes in both the major and minor scale, and they have a certain pattern which creates that major scale or minor scale, that key. And so we can build a chord off of every single note. So for the major key, we have major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7. And then in minor, we have minor 1, diminished 2, major 3, minor 4, minor 5, minor 5, major 6, and major 7. So, for example, in Levanter, which I forgot to talk about during my reaction, is it's all in a major key. It plays the minor 6 chord, which does give us that heartstringy pull and make us cry because it's so bittersweet, but then we have a tinge of sadness. But that is within the major key, so that minor 6 chord that they played in that song is diatonic. Now with this song, I think are switching, we're mostly in D flat major. So this song, all the emotion comes from the diminished chords that we have. So this song's chord progression keeps landing on a diminished 7 chord, which is like really freaking sad. It's super, super minor, y'all. And it's like, wow. And so when the melody is singing over that, you'll know when the minor chords arrive because they sing scale degree 2, so a E flat over that diminished chord. So for a good example to hear it in is the chorus. Da 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 da. It adds that extra tension because 1 and 2 are so close together on the scale. Well, I mean, it's a step above, but you know, still, rather than like leaping to a different note, it's like next to each other stepwise. Da, 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 da. That's that pull. So when I listen to music, I love listening for little changes here and there in the song as either the phrase repeats or like just overall. And what caught my attention in this song is that variation was created by putting in like a singular or several synth textures and then taking them out for certain phrases. So a good example is the chorus when we have the da 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 da. I feel like there's some vocal harmonies going along with, like, there's a third above and maybe an octave below that da 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 melody, and then I think there's some other textures in the back that make it more thick, so that when da 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 comes back a second time and those background textures aren't there, the feeling of that return melody changes because it's more focused on the voice. And then in between that we have the appearance of like the baby synth sample, what I like to call it. Okay, which is like pitched up voice with like kind of muffled sound. Starting at 54 seconds in. 3, 2, 1. Like this sounds like a giant group, right? There's the baby synth. And see, that feels different because something was taken out, I feel like. Or maybe they just changed vocalists? Something changed in the track. And the silence. I think that, yeah, this is a completely different second verse. So much lighter. Okay. So when varying up feels between sections in a pop song, you usually do that by just like taking away and adding in synths, like I was saying before, for variation. Usually in the bridge, if we do have an upbeat track, you take out the percussion and you just let the listener float in chords or ambiance, and so that's what they did here. And then towards the end, they added in what we call 4 on the floor, meaning it's the percussion is hitting every 4 beats, since this is in 4/4 time signature, and it had so much energy, and I'm like, are we about to go into a rap section? But instead, we just like go back to the original vibe. So let's listen to that again. 3, 2, 231. So we're floating, except we have like little sprinkles of synths, but we have no like percussion. Here's the percussion, like 8th notes. Do, 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 do. And Felix's voice has so much energy, and they were just like, because before we were hitting da 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 da, and now the beat's back to da 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 da, right? Yeah. So it's slower subdivision. So we build up all this energy, and then we float it back down. I guess it's just like, it expresses the emotion you feel. It's because they're like, I can never let you go! And it's like, so they're taking us on an emotional roller coaster, and then they're like going back to the original vibe of like, how could I ever let you go? Because yeah, relationships are an emotional roller coaster. So yeah, that was really fun to delve into, and I'm gonna enjoy re-listening to it and watching this music video again and actually paying attention to the story. They all look very handsome. The story looks very dramatic, so. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys are finding lots of fun things to keep you busy during the quarantine. Take care of yourselves, bye! I am ReacttotheK's channel's chorus.